Hello everybody and welcome back to Haunted Hometown. I am super excited to be doing a third video. If you haven't watched my previous ones, I will leave a link in the description box down below or a card somewhere around here. But today we are going to be venturing back into Oklahoma, into a city close to Collinsville, which is where my previous videos were done. And we're gonna be going to a place called Claremore. Now, I am kind of fascinated with Oklahoma history just because there's so much, I guess you could call it, turmoil that went on there, which a lot of states have that. And so I think venturing more into this, I'm going to become really obsessed with every single state. But again, just like the last time, if you guys have any comments or suggestions on things that I could use to improve my videos, leave them down below. Or if you want me to research your hometown and find personal accounts of hauntings, leave a comment down below and let me know what town you want me to look into. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get started. This one is definitely going to be in multiple parts. There are even more oh, I keep saying that, even more stories than Collinsville. So I'm kind of excited because I know of a cemetery in Claremore that is supposedly so haunted. It's a Native American cemetery, and people claim that that place is so scary, and so I'm wondering if any of these stories are gonna have anything to do with that. I know of a couple old mansions that are there that I have been told about, and like, I'm excited, and I haven't even dug into this yet. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. In the early 90s, a friend and I had a very weird experience on the second floor in the first room to the right of the stairs. In what house? I guess just a house. At that time, they were starting the remodel of the place. Everything was roped off except that room. Near Christmas, they were having a small craft sale on the first floor. So this is somewhere, doesn't say where it is. Maybe it'll say it later. We decided to go upstairs and see what we could see. I wish we hadn't gone up there. To this day, I think back on it and it still freaks me out. Never really believed in ghosts, but don't understand what happened. The room was fixed like a child's bedroom with twin bed against left wall. There was a little dresser on right wall. When I walked to the back wall, it looked out the window down to the street. I could see my truck. I turned to go back and about at the head of the bed, an ice cold presence moved up behind me, kind of glanced over my shoulder, but I knew my friend and I were the only ones in the room. When the cold thing passed right through my body, I felt it go in and come back out my front. It felt like I was freezing. When that happened to my perception, the room was now at a 45-degree slant. In my mind, I was trying to figure out how to get out of the room really fast. My friend was standing at the foot of the bed, close to the door, with her back to me. I had to step out and go around her to get to the door. I really thought as I stepped out I would fall over or slide down the slant. That's so creepy, just thinking like all of a sudden everything just... I told myself to do it and run fast. I got out the door and turned to look back at my friend from the hallway. I felt fine then, no slanting or freezing cold. My friend, still in the room, at the foot of the bed, glanced back over her shoulder. She turned and looked back at me. Her eyes were as big as plates. She rushed out of the room, standing next to me, looking back into the room. She started to freak out and said someone was tugging on the back of her shirt. She thought it was me behind her. But when she looked back, there was no one there. She was shaking. It scared her so bad. I wasn't going to tell her my deal. I figured she'd call me a nut job. I said, something happened to me too, but let's get out of here. Tell this in the truck. Needless to say, we freaked out in my truck. I promise you, I'm not making this up. I've been wanting to go back and see it with the remodeling done, but I'm too scared to. That was submitted by Renee, and she said, by the way, this is the Belvedere Mansion. That's what I was talking about. So I was telling my husband I was going to do this place, and he is from this area of Oklahoma, and he told me, you should do something on the Belvedere Mansion because it's haunted as heck. And I'm like, okay, eventually. But that's so crazy that that's the first story that I found, because he literally came in here, said that, and then he went for a run. Like, oh, coincidence? Okay, this next one's another one of the one sentencers. My house is haunted. A ghost named Kaysen lives there. That's good. And by no means, I don't want any of you guys to think that I'm making fun of anyone's ghost experience when I like kind of say things jokingly. I definitely take people seriously. If that's what they say happened, that's what they say happened. And I kind of handle my fear and uncomfortableness with like comedy or being goofy. And so again, by no way am I like making fun of anyone who posts like these types of stories. In the next story, most of my personal ghost sightings happened when I was little, so I cannot count on their whole validity. Okay. However, my dad, who stayed at home to work, has experienced a lot. When I was little, my brother went to a party in the boonies and somehow got a hold of a Ouija board. Anyways, he took it home and hit a deer. He blamed the board. There's a lot of deer in that area. In the deer's defense, or in the board's defense. There's a lot of deer in certain times of year. At our house, there was a mirror my parents set up, so they could see the end of our hallway to know if we sneaked out to the end of the hallway to watch TV. That's kind of smart. Good parenting. One day, my dad, before I was born, was inside watching TV. It was summer, and my two older siblings were asleep for nap time. They were little. Then, my dad saw my sister walk into my parents' room across the hall. He went back to put her in her own bed, but it turned out she was not in his room. She was sound asleep in her own bed. We often heard loud bangs and doors slamming randomly, even when there was no one around. My sister had a room all by herself at the other end of the house. Ooh! To get to the room from mine, my brother's, or my parents' room, you had to go down the hallway, unlit at night, through the living room, sometimes entirely dark. That's so creepy. That sounds like my parents' house. The kitchen and another hallway, nearly always dark, with two bathrooms and a laundry room along the way at night. So they literally mean the complete opposite side of the house. When I was little, I had awful nightmares all the time. So I would generally pick a family member to cuddle with, usually my mom and dad or my brother. Only once did I make it to my sister's room. I could barely make it down the hallway where most of the young ghost sightings occurred. I almost never made it into the living room where I was certain a dead soldier lurked. Ooh, that's very specific. I never made it into the kitchen either, except one time. I was about 3. I had a nightmare. I slowly tiptoed down the hallway. There was no ghosts yet in the living room. I started to walk fast, and I was about to lose my nerve. I was 3 in a dark house. I was sure. I can't remember anything when I was 3. Sorry, interruptions. I was 3 in a dark house. I was sure it was haunted. In the kitchen, the vent was making noise again. At this point, my 3-year-old mind was in overdrive. I reasoned with myself, as much as a 3-year-old could. At the edge of the last dark hallway, I had already made it over halfway through the house. I could do this. I sprinted to the door of my sister's room and slipped. I remember a cold feeling in that hallway, and it seemed way too dark in there. Maybe it's just a super terrified 3-year-old speaking here, but something was there watching me. Anyway, I cried in my sister's arms for the rest of the night. And even now at 15, I get creeped out by that hallway. Even when it's daytime and the hallway is dark, I can't hardly get myself back there. After using the bathroom in that hallway, I wait before I open the door and prep myself to run out back to the kitchen. There have been other worse encounters that I may tell sometime, but for now, that is all. And that was submitted by A. So that was kind of creepy. I definitely can say I don't remember anything when I was 3. Do you guys remember anything as a 3-year-old? Maybe they were older and they're just thinking they were 3 and they're just kind of piecing together these memories. But that's definitely really young to remember something like that. But, so those stories were really long, so I'm going to end this one here. There's probably going to be like 3 or 4 parts to the Claremore, Oklahoma. So again, if you guys like these types of videos or you just want to be supportive and join the family, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys, so I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Be safe and stay spooky.